What do you want to hear Beyonce say if she wins a category that she has been denied multiple times?
Like, I want to hear her recite one of her like more outlandish lyrics that she doesn't actually like say.
I want her to be very like proud and bold. I think to your point, like if she's not quoting lyrics, like I want cussing Beyonce on stage. She doesn't like, or rapping Beyonce on stage. She doesn't necessarily have to cuss, but I just want her to come with that energy and be like, I'm grateful, but also like y'all been playing me. Welcome back to That Can't Be Right. I am your host, Ryan Rogan. I know it's been a year, but I'm back like your toxic ex. One more. Okay, I know it's been a year, but I'm back in your life like the email from that company you definitely unsubscribed from, but you keep getting them. Okay, one more. I'm back in your life like that person on Hinge you see every time you re-download the app, but neither of you ever swipe, right? Or whatever you do on Hinge, you're not swiping. And finally, I'm back in your life like a nagging knee injury that's semi-autobiographical. So it can't be a batch of episodes of That Can't Be Right without an episode about Beyonce. So here we go. But first, follow and subscribe wherever you're getting this podcast. I won't tell you how to listen to a podcast. You figured it out by now. And follow along TCBR Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and now TikTok. What are we going to do on TikTok? Don't know, but we're there. Follow along. Might just be lurking. Also, back with Lesley Gwam, podcast producer, badass boxer. Lesley, welcome back to That Can't Be Right. Thanks for sitting through all that.
No problem. Glad to be here. Also, addendum to the boxing thing, water-filled bags. Not up to the hard ones yet.
One day.
Yes.
I might have told you, I tried a reflex bag the other day. Everybody's riveted. Tried a reflex bag the other day. It never hit me in the face, but had some very near misses.
Okay, but your duck game was strong.
Bobbing and weaving.
There you go.
Bob, slip, roll, all that. So I'll have to do a boxing episode now to explain everything. But if you're new, if you've never listened to this podcast, I highly recommend that first you go check out the episode about Beyonce that Lesley and I did in 2021. Inspired by a tweet from Wesley Lowery where he said Beyonce had never released an R&B album. We went through album by album, did a breakdown. The title of the episode, in case you can't find it based on that description, is Has Beyonce Ever Released an R&B Album featuring Lesley Gwam?
Easy enough.
Very creative, search engine optimized. We're good to go. And based on that last episode, I had planned on starting to ask Lesley, Renaissance, pop, or R&B, but like that's the complete opposite point of this conversation. And I guess I should introduce the point of this conversation. The Grammys are coming up. Beyonce is nominated for Song of the Year, Record of the Year, Album of the Year, Best Dance Electronic Album, Best Dance Electronic, song. But there was like kind of some controversy around it. So we're going to kind of explore that controversy. Does that sound right?
Let's go for it.
Let's hit it. First things first. Spell Renaissance.
Okay. Not funny. My parents have paid entirely too much of my education for me to embarrass them like that. So I'm not going to do that.
Man, the album that everybody loves, but everybody calls the new Beyonce album, because it has been kicking asses left and right in group chats. Thank goodness for autocorrect.
Yep.
Okay, but for real, the first question is, do you remember like hearing Break My Soul for the first time? Or like your initial reactions to it at least?
Honestly, I heard it when everyone else did. And when the single dropped on the internet, I listened to it on my computer. And I was like, that's cool. Didn't really like shatter my world until I heard it in spin class. When I heard it in spin class, it just, I just broke away from the pack as she was not breaking her soul. It was amazing. Like, I was like, this is what these people are experiencing with the song. Like, this is why people love the song so much. And then I remembered the sample and I was like, oh yeah, Beyonce has done it again. So that it's all about proper context, because with my computer's not bad, but those computer speakers just do not compare to being in a spin class with 20 other very sweaty, very tired people and hearing the song to bring you back to life, essentially. So yeah, that was the first time I realized that I love that song.
I'm happy. The first time I realized I loved it was when she said, "Quit your job." I I don't know if anybody is like on the internet. We're on the internet type people, and there's always like a meme about I'm the person that brings a real quit your job type energy to the group chat, and I wear that hat proudly.
Yeah.
So that was my favorite line. But to your point, I do want to acknowledge that. Like there's such a difference between like pressing play on an Instagram clip or on your computer, or as opposed to hearing it at a spin class, hearing it with a group of friends, or even hearing it like driving in your car if you have like a nice sound system.
Yep.
Such a different experience. And I
Absolutely.
think, you know, I have another rant about like how you stop listening to music as you grow older. You've heard it before.
Can we do it? Yeah, but I love that.
Can we do
rant.
it? Okay.
I live for it.
So there is research, and there's thinking about like when you get older, like you go grumpy, you don't like new music anymore. My theory is that like you just don't tie memories to music as much anymore as you grow older. And then when you do have like momentous occasions to celebrate, you go back to the music from those memories. Like you don't walk down the aisle. It's like a current top 40 hit. You don't do your first dance like with the father of the bride or the mother of the groom. Like you're not doing that. It's like a new song. You're doing that to a song that maybe your mom danced with you when you were a baby or a toddler or something. And as you grow older, like you have memories from like the songs that were playing first kiss, first dance, first party at college, all those moments like around graduation. For me, Hotline Bling is a song that was really popular when I went into basic training, and like then you're cut off from the world, so that was all we knew. And then we have Lesley and I went to grad school together, and we have what's the Drake song, Nice for What? Like that was a bop when we all first met. So we're at this club in like downtown Universal Studios. I don't know what it is, wherever in Orlando, and like Nice for What? That was the songs. Like that's a song I'll associate with that time of my life.
For sure.
You're older, you don't go out as much, you don't make those new memories. So a bonus episode essentially I've just dropped on you is that you don't grow old and like get grumpy about new music. You just don't like tie new music to memories as much anymore. So like it doesn't stick in your brain. I will listen to music on Spotify, not sponsored, but you can if you want to. I will listen to music on Spotify. I'll like it. And then like, I'll go about my day, and then it will come up again. I'll be like, oh, I love this song. And then it's like, oh, you've already liked it.
Yep, no worries. No, I'm the same way. And then I'll typically, I try to not get old by making sure I listen to all like the new music playlists, but then I typically go back to my old stuff.
Right.
That's just how it works out. But what my friend Matt was telling me a while ago was that, like you said, you're not necessarily stop listening to music as you get older, but you just stop having the same emotional connections to new music. You have it, if you do have it to new music, it's to music by artists that you already know, right?
Uh-huh.
So like, we enjoy the Beyonce album, but we've loved Beyonce for time. Like, so that's what he was saying. Like, you don't have as strong of a tie to new artists as you would if you were still an adolescent, which is like very related to what you were saying.
Yeah. It's also hard probably to relate. I hope it's hard to relate to like an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Men, it should be hard to relate to 18-year-olds.
Take that in.
Okay. Next question about Beyonce. Did you listen to the leak?
I got it. It was sent to my phone, but I was like, I don't need a leak. I can just wait. Like, we're in the age of streaming. It's all good. I kind of understood leaks a bit more when we had to physically buy music or even buy music at all instead of subscribing to like a DSP. So I was like, I'll just wait. It's cool. Plus, I don't know if it's going to like harm my computer or something. Plus, I'm fully under the belief that Beyonce did that anyway. Because those NDAs that like, they don't play. Since when have the Carter's Knowles played about NDAs? Like, ever. So, really? The album just happened to leak? Nah. Y'all did that.
Nah, B.
Y'all did that.
I'm with it. And, I believe that because she also acknowledged the leak, which they never really do. She said, like, thanks y'all for, like, not listening and not spreading it around, which was very surprising.
Yep.
I hadn't thought about that. I didn't listen to the leak because I'm lazy. Also, I had the same concerns about, harming my computer. Was, like, I getting trolled because I am prime audience to listen to the Beyonce content.
Right.
But it also goes to the fact that, like, I don't remember how to pirate stuff anymore. Not that I ever did, FBI man.
Right.
But if I needed
FCC.
to, I wouldn't know where to go to get stuff anymore because
Because
everything's
why?
so easy to access. Yeah, you don't need to. You don't need to. This episode's a lot of tangents. I'm so glad to be back here.
We are so old. We're not getting old, but we are old. Old people sit there and go on tangents all day.
I wonder if we're going to make it through this episode. Okay, we get Break My Soul. We're all waiting. There's got to be a video coming. As of today's January something, there's still no album. I'm sorry, there's still no visuals for any of the album. But I was so ready for like Break My Soul to have something. But the album comes out the following month, July. What were you thinking when you first heard it?
Again, I did not listen in the right context. I was like, oh, this is dope. Like, Beyonce is trying out different stuff. Like, this is really cool. Not as, I was expecting to be more R&B leaning than it was. Like, I thought Break My Soul was going to be a moment versus the album being the moment. But I still didn't fully appreciate it until I heard it out or in my car. When I started to be like, oh, I think I love this album was when I played Church Girl in my car for the first time. And I was like, oh, I actually feel like dancing, but behind the wheel, so I shouldn't. Exactly. Ryan's dancing, everybody.
Yeah, I'm just doing some shoulder work.
Some shimmies. Shout out to the Kappas. But yeah, so that's when I was like, I love this album. But when I first heard it through, it was like, this is great. It's experimental. And then I heard it in my car and I was like, I cannot stop playing this album.
It flows together so well. I remember like the first time I realized Cuff It and Energy were two different songs. I was like, oh, this song is long. I love it. I was like, oh, I'm like 3 tracks later. This is great. This is great.
It is nuts. The Cuff It Through move, best album run I've probably ever heard.
That was my next question. There's probably movements, maybe like someone who played an instrument would be able to describe like it in movements and different pieces. Yeah, that Cuff It to Move It run. Great.
Beautiful. Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss. And I think that goes to why I think she should win Album of the Year, but we're not there yet. I'm still trying to learn more about Lesley's relationship with Renaissance. You went to Club Renaissance.
I did.
You did not fly me out for Club Renaissance.
Blame the plug. You know him.
We won't name drop here, but
he found out recently that he is like 40% Nigerian. So kind of a cousin of mine.
We're cousins. We're all cousins.
This is true.
Lesley and I look alike, and we resisted it when we were in person, and not in the like, you know, sometimes like, oh, they look just like you, and it's an insult. No, that was never why I resisted it. I'm a foot taller than Lesley.
Yeah,
easily. Yeah. Not really, but like I'm taller than Lesley, so it's like no, I don't really see it.
It's because we were constantly mistaken for each other, and we're like, that doesn't make sense. You have to literally look up to Ryan. I'm a whole 5'5.5".
Yeah. It never made sense, but
now we look at pictures of each other.
We literally exchanged baby pictures today.
Well, yes, Club Renaissance. Shout out to the plug. It was a great time. I really had no idea what to expect, like at all, because I just know that apparently people got cell phone alerts saying Club Renaissance was happening, and then tickets were gone, and that's just how it went in that order. And I did not know what to expect whatsoever. We get there, it's in a very strange part of town. There's like a very suspicious house behind us. So we're like, are we even safe? We go inside. It's just dark. There's not even music playing. It's like this like a weird like white noise, but not music. And the horse from the Renaissance album cover is there. So everybody's taking pictures of that. But then we're just walking around. There's a bar. There's snacks. She catered loved baked wings, which I thought was cool. Local business. So there's snacks. And then after like, I'd say 30 minutes of that, you hear Beyonce's voice, and she's describing like her creative process and like how excited she is for us to hear the album and how much she's enjoying seeing everybody else enjoy the album. And then they just played the album on loop in spatial audio. So it was really cool because that's my first time seeing people react to the album as a whole, right? Because when you go out, you hear Break My Soul, you hear Cuff It. Oh, Lord, you hear Cuff It. And you hear maybe like Church Girl or something, but you don't hear the whole album. So to see people with like, you know, their fans and their twirls dancing to Alien Superstar and I'm That Girl, and just really seeing which songs other than like the obvious Cuff It and Break My Soul got reactions. And it was Alien Superstar, I'm That Girl, Thick, Move, and Virgo's Groove.
It was fun seeing people react to like some of the other tracks, and then he listed all of the other tracks. Which fair, it's true, but
All I'm saying is like America Has a Problem did not necessarily have the same reaction the Alien Superstar did.
but America, it's not because America Has a Problem isn't good. It's because America Has a Problem is at the end of the album.
Yeah.
And when you play it, you just might not get there. But it's a bop through and through. But I get your point. What about Plastic Off the Sofa? Because like that's a different vibe than some of the other songs, but I love it.
Yeah.
It's also kind of maybe like more for your partner as opposed to like maybe the people you go out with for that occasion.
Exactly. Like people, of course, well, obviously, if you're going to Club Renaissance, you're like a huge Beyonce fan. So people knew the words to the majority of the album anyway. But I did notice that people were grooving to that, but that was more of a let's go take pictures by the horse or let's go get drinks moment versus like dancing. But like Virgo's groove, just like that was amazing.
Final question before we jump into the 2023 Grammy ballot process. Where did this album end up on your Spotify Wrapped?
Ooh, you know what? You asked me that, and I didn't look up in advance, but I'm pretty sure it was like definitely top 3. I don't want to tell you it's number 1 because it's really embarrassing.
But I mean, we're doing a whole episode about Beyonce. It can't be.
I mean, number 1 artist was Drake, whatever. It's been Drake for years.
Okay. 2023 Grammy ballot. So for those like who aren't familiar with the process, I'll actually plug another episode of That Can't Be Right. It's called Why Are the Grammys So Mean to My Friend Beyonce with Dr. John Vilanova. And we kind of explored like the why we should care that Beyonce necessarily hasn't won Album of the Year, Song of the Year, Record of the Year in years where she's been up against what I would call subpar competition. But to start the artists say like submit the songs and art and the work that they want to be considered for Grammy. So Beyonce submitted Break My Soul for Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and then Best Dance Electronic Recording. She submitted Renaissance for Album of the Year, Best Dance Electronic Album, Heated and Virgo's Groove for R&B Performance, Cuff It for R&B Song, and I think one is for writing, one like writing production, one is for actual performance of the song. And then Be Alive from the movie Will Smith won an Oscar for after slapping Chris Rock.
Yes.
Pop culture. So the Recording Academy's dance committee felt it might not be a perfect fit for the drama, and they thought it might be a better fit for pop vocal album with people like Adele, Harry Styles, and Lizzo. What is your reaction to that from the committee?
Honestly, it's not too surprising because what I've learned about the Recording Academy and these committees, they really don't like to move people from categories once they have them in there. Like, if you recall, Tyler, the Creator, was like, this isn't a rap album. When he won, he's like, I mean, I'm glad to be nominated, but this is, I rapped for like 5 minutes on an hour-long album. This is not a rap album. So, but once they put you in a box, they kind of like you to stay there. So, somewhat disappointing because Beyonce is really a very versatile artist, but that's how it goes.
100%. And you didn't mention him, but Justin Bieber also had the same problem.
Correct.
I was trying to keep a straight face and I couldn't. Beyonce herself like has acknowledged that was like dance house music was her intent in releasing the album, and we can talk more about like the samples, even the controversies with the samples. But she said a big thank you to my Uncle Johnny, who she references on the album. He was my godmother and the first person who exposed me a lot of the music culture that served as inspiration for this album. Thank you to all the pioneers who originate cultures, to all the fallen angels whose contributions have gone unrecognized for far too long. This is a celebration for you. And it's like that, I mean, could have also kind of clued them into it not being a solely pop album when the artist states their intention so clearly. But that said, moving on, National Screening Committee came in and said, you know what, Beyonce, she knows the music she made pretty well. She's right. It should be in dance.
Yep.
One article mentioned Drake's house album that came out probably a month before Renaissance called Honestly Nevermind.
Aptly titled.
And honestly, I forgot.
Aptly titled. Yep.
But here's like the most surprising thing. Charted on Billboard's dance chart at number 1 for 17 weeks.
Really?
Who was listening?
Everybody gave it at least one spin.
One that first week, and then like again, forgot it existed.
Yeah, because Beyonce came and showed us what house actually is.
Right.
My issue with that album was that, yeah, I mean, he didn't have vocals. Like, whatever he was doing on there is not singing. And that's why the best song on that album is actually him rapping.
I remember saying, I think I like this song and that's it. What's the name of that song? I don't remember. Like,
Right.
I didn't go back and check. Wasn't necessary for the purposes of this episode or my life.
Although I do wonder, am I going to feel differently about this in the future? Because it's happened to me with quite a few Drake things. Like, I did not like Views when it came out. I actually hated it. Other than Controller, which I love to death and still do. I hated that album. And then fast forward to like 2021, I was like, actually, Aubrey did something with this. So I wonder if I feel that way about this album.
I have an example, but I don't want to use that artist, so I won't. But I am not a big Drake album person. I love his singles.
Yeah.
Going back to like, listening to new music, I tried to give it a listen because I was like, ooh, if it's good, it's going to be a part of the summer. It's going to be a move. It's going to be a moment. And it was none of those things.
It was
it's kind of like Avatar.
Yeah, I can't really relate. 3-hour movie is just not my ministry.
But like the new one's made $2 billion. I've heard crickets.
Right. It's like from who?
Right. What country? On Avatar? Or I don't even, are they avatars? Are they on Avatar? I don't know. Because again, didn't see it. The first one came out when I was still a teenager. And could bend my knee completely. Beyonce, Renaissance, or Grammy nominations. Break My Soul for Record of the Year and Song of the Year. Renaissance for Album of the Year and Best Dance Electronic Album. Burger's Groove for Best R&B Performance. Cuff It for Best R&B Song. And Break My Soul, one of the remixes, also up for Break My Soul remix, also up for Best Remix.
And Traditional R&B Performance, which is of this Plastic Off the Sofa is up for Traditional R&B Performance, which I did not know was a whole other category.
Yeah. So let's start with like the big four. So the big four typically Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Album of the Year, and Best New Artist. Beyonce not up for Best New Artist. I'll read the nominees. Obviously, I want Beyonce to win. I'm not going to hold you to that. But we could probably say if Beyonce doesn't win, who we think will win. And maybe who do we accept as a winner. So, Record of the Year, Don't Shut Me Down by ABBA. Easy on Me by Adele. Good Morning Gorgeous by Mary J. Blige. You and Me on the Rock, Brandi Carlile. Woman, Doja Cat. Bad Habit, Steve Lacy. The Heart Part 5, Kendrick Lamar. About Damn Time, Lizzo. As It Was, Harry Styles. Before you respond, there's no way this program can run in the allotted amount of time if they have to read all of these nominees.
Right. There's still be the video.
They're so long.
It's very
still
long.
So long.
And like ABBA, like Dancing Queen?
Same people. So that could be a nostalgia play, possibly. That could be a dark horse.
Didn't see that one coming.
I'm going to save one for the end. Good Morning Gorgeous by Mary J. I don't think that could take it. There's two I want to talk about, actually. We're not going to save them for the end. We're jumping right in.
Okay.
Easy on Me by Adele. And the Dirty album by Adele generally. Also, I feel like a cultural flop.
Yeah. There was such a huge buildup, and then it came and went.
Yeah, the rollout was impeccable. But I was reading the guy, Dan Runcie, who runs Capital, and he's like,
love him.
A good rollout is table stakes nowadays. Like, that's what you have to do to capture people's attention.
Because of Beyonce. Because of Beyonce changed the rollout game.
Yes. SZA had a great rollout. Her album is good. The conversation continues. She was on SNL. Adele, like 30, I listened to it. I love Adele. Fun fact, I'll share a screenshot because I'm not over it. I had tickets to see Adele in 2012. $55 total for 2 tickets. She canceled, got pregnant, had surgery, never got to see her. I'm not interested in necessarily paying like Vegas prices to see her. But the album 30 wasn't that good to me. Vocally amazing, but like in terms of like, ooh, I want to go back and listen to it, I haven't.
Right. I'm one of the weird ones who like, I don't know. I acknowledge that Adele is a good singer, but doesn't touch my soul.
Yeah, I get it. I have memories around the early Adele albums.
There you go.
So that's we're riding with her. But like the last album was kind of like for me. The other one I want to talk about was Bad Habit by Steve Lacy. Hot take, not a huge fan. I think he's talented, but like I've seen him perform in live. He's good. I've seen him with the internet, and it's just like I don't necessarily enjoy the song as much as everybody else does.
I mean, that song took off because of social media, right? Which is kind of wild because the internet is such an incredible group. It's like, but this is how you make it, like via TikTok, really. But like, yeah, it's a fine record, but I don't see it taking this award.
I think like Adele that could be the upset, but I also think Harry Styles, Lizzo, or maybe Kendrick Lamar. Actually, I don't think Kendrick Lamar could win it, but I do think
I was going to say, I think he could. I think it's between Beyonce, Kendrick, and Brandi Carlile because they do stuff like that. They'll just pick what feels like a random or like an artist whose name you recognize, but don't really feel them as being as impactful in this very moment and being like, nope, actually, here's the award. They won it. So I think that's who it's between, but I am rooting for Beyonce here.
Okay, let's do Song of the Year. Okay. The TikTok song ABCDEFU by Gayle.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a real song necessarily.
Same.
So
thought it was a sound.
Yep. Just a TikTok sound.
Yep.
About Damn Time by Lizzo. All Too Well, Taylor Swift. We have some repeats, As It Was by Harry Styles, Bad Habit by Steve Lacy, Easy on Me by Adele, The Heart Part 5 by Kendrick Lamar, and then Break My Soul by Beyonce, of course. Then we have God Did, DJ Khaled, and Just Like That, Bonnie Raitt.
Can't see a world where Khaled wins this. He has a bunch of heavy hitters on that song, but the song itself wasn't that great. And not gonna lie, don't really want to sit through a Khaled acceptance speech anyway. Same for Gayle. I mean, I don't know anything about Gayle, but I don't see that winning. I do think it's likely Taylor Swift because she is very much a Grammy darling. And this is the only really big award that she's nominated for, I think. So I see it going to her.
Yeah, I agree. I think that could ruin my night.
Yeah, because like I don't really care for it, but I just know how the Grammys operate.
That's when I didn't actually go out of my way to listen to the new Taylor Swift stuff. I think part of it is the same could probably be said for Beyonce fans who are on the internet acting crazy, but some of the culture around Taylor Swift has always been kind of weird to me. Because there's also interesting articles about how they don't let her age. They still some people still kind of treat her like a young woman, a young teenage woman, when she's a grown woman now.
Yeah.
And what that means for how people are allowed to critique her and react to her and all that jazz. That's another episode.
So do you have Taylor taking that too, though? Taking song?
Maybe. I feel like if Beyonce doesn't win, it's Adele or Harry Styles for Record of the Year. And if Beyonce doesn't win Song of the Year, it's Adele or Taylor Swift.
Fair. I actually do see Beyonce winning record, though. I know we're past it, but I actually see that for her.
I want the best. I wish nothing but the best for Beyonce. Let's jump to Album of the Year. Voyage by ABBA, 30 by Adele, Un Verano Sin Ti, Bad Bunny, Renaissance, Beyonce, Good Morning Gorgeous, Mary J. Blige, In These Silent Days, Brandi Carlile, Music of the Spheres, Coldplay, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, Kendrick Lamar, Special by Lizzo, and then Harry's House by Harry Styles.
Naturally, this is one where I'm I want Beyonce to win. I'm going to leave with that with everything. I'm scared of the Beehive. Y'all wow, we went over this last time. So I'm rooting for Beyonce in all things. But I don't see it for this one. I think it's going to be either Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny. Yep.
Bad Bunny is the lead contender. I'm quite sure it's gonna be Bad Bunny, but if it's not, then it'll probably be like Coldplay, because I didn't hear a lot about that album, but they're another one that like they're kind of a sort of looking for like a status group. Like you listen to Coldplay, you're cool and cultured, and the Grammys kind of like to award those types of groups and artists. So I think it's either Bad Bunny or Coldplay. But Bad Bunny has such an incredible year. I can't see it not being him.
Agreed. And I think Coldplay is also like, this is kind of their swan song, if I'm to understand conversations I've heard. But I also wonder if they would, I don't know, would they ever like give Kendrick a makeup win for losing to, listen, this is not a joke, can't remember that man's name. Macklemore. Would they ever give Kendrick?
How could you forget the text message?
I remember the text message. I remember the swoop. I remember he's from Seattle. I remember that he thought he was gay as a child for some reason.
Oh yeah, he had the weddings at the Grammys. Yep.
There's a lot. There was a lot.
A lot happened. What a moment.
Don't remember any of his. I remember his music. That's not true. But like, I remember his raps. I remember like the hooks.
Yeah, like that thrift store song.
So I don't know. Could Kendrick get a makeup win? As much as I want Beyonce to win, the purpose of the episode is Beyonce. I'm glad she's nominated for Record of the Year, for Song of the Year, for Album of the Year. I think she's 3 Grammy wins away from being the most awarded person, man or woman, in Grammy history. So that's like an exciting target she could hit at this ceremony. I'm just going through my pages to find the other nominations. I have real paper, y'all. Best Dance Electronic Recording: Break My Soul, Beyonce. Rosewood, is that Bonobo? Don't Forget My Love, Diplo and Miguel. I'm Good, David Guetta and BB Rexa. Intimidated, Kaytranada featuring Her, and On My Knees, Rufus Du Sol.
Yeah, I actually have this going to Kaytranada and Her. I heard that song everywhere.
Yeah,
and it's a dance record. Like it's right in the nose. So I see that. That's twice. I mean, I listened to other songs. I recognized Diplo and Miguel song. I mean, now I'm just talking like personally, because like I did not like the Blue song because I was alive in the 90s and early 2000s and remember the original. And then the other two are fine, but none of them really stood out. Like, other than Break My Soul, the only one that really, really stood out was the Kaytranada and Her. And Her is another award show darling. Her was going to appear on an award show stage.
Yes, with glasses, little tiny glasses.
Right. Or big ones sometimes.
Sometimes. Did you catch her, as an aside, Beauty and the Beast?
I did not see it, but I thought that was really cool.
I watched it, and she was good. She was fine. It was just like a weird production.
They typically are.
Yeah. Anytime they do those like live for TV things get weird. But yeah, love Kaytranada. I've seen him live a few times. Great vibe.
Such a good show. Exactly. He brings out such a good crowd.
Such a good crowd. Best Dance Electronic Music Album: Renaissance, Beyonce. Fragments, Bonobo. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Unclear. Diplo. The Last Goodbye, Odessa, and Surrender, Rufus Du Sol. I feel like because there was hesitancy, not even like knowing much about the other albums, I've heard tracks from all of them. I don't know if she can win this category because it isn't pure dance or electronic music. It's house, which is like from whence the dance and electronic music flow.
Beautiful.
But because it diverges in some directions, like explores like beyond the boundaries of the genre, I'm not sure she can win it. Again.
Which is wild. That's really something you should be awarded for.
It is.
Right? But you're right.
I don't know. You know what? I hope she gets it, and then we can talk. Let me jump to the R&B stuff, and then we can kind of wrap up with a few other questions about the Grammy ceremony and your hopes for the future of Beyonce. And just going to leave my bank account information in case anybody wants to send me some money so I can get the best possible tickets for the tour. Best R&B performance: Virgo's Groove, Over by Lucky Day, Hurt Me So Good, Jasmine Sullivan, Here With Me, Mary J. Blige, Anderson .Paak, Hours and Hours, Muni Long.
I see this going to Hours and Hours. Is it Muni Long?
Same.
Muni Long?
Muni Long. I don't know anybody's name.
But that song, I mean, it's so, all the runs she does in that song, as well as like the simplicity of the music, like that's very pure R&B.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I see that going to her.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Boom.
Best R&B song, Cuff It, Beyonce. Good Morning Gorgeous, Mary J. Blige. Hours and Hours, Muni Long. Hurt Me So Good, Jasmine Sullivan. And then Please Don't Walk Away, PJ Morton.
I could actually see the Cuff It with that one.
I'm fine with that. I agree. I just wonder why she did submit Cuff It by and for best R&B performance. I'll text her and see what she says.
See what Blue says.
See what Blue says. Stop texting my mom. Okay, Blue. Love it. Actually, probably not helpful for you in like doing your Grammy ballot for your office pool, but we want Beyonce to win. We understand that she technically does not have to win every category, and try to explain our thinking behind that. But best of luck to all the nominees, all of the winners. I hope it's a fun night. I don't know which categories are going to be televised because I feel like some of those categories aren't necessarily televised all the time.
Yeah. I think the ones we didn't know existed. Like, we didn't even talk about remix, but
I don't even know if that was in this packet.
It's Beyonce, Break My Soul, the Terry Hunter remix, Ellie Goulding, Easy Lover, the Fortet remix, the Knox and Dragonettes, Slow Song, the Paul Wolf remix, Lizzo, About Damn Time. What's happening? What's just pandemonium over there? Lizzo, About Damn Time, the Purple Disco Machine remix, and Wet Leg, Too Late Now, Soul Wax remix. Ryan, how many of these songs do you know?
You were just making up words, so I feel like all the songs have an even chance because I don't know how they evaluate remixes because I don't often think about the remixes as it relates to Grammys.
Same. I think when I was listening to them, I did think that Break My Soul. Well, one, let me start by saying I am very biased because Terry Hunter is a legendary Chicago DJ and he is the person who remixed Break My Soul. So bias fully out there, Beyonce, Chicago, whatever. But that aside, which is a huge aside, I think it is the best of these remixes because it breaks away just enough to still have ties to the original song, but stays within the theme. But it's a remix, so you can tell it's a brand new song. Like, I didn't feel like Lizzo's About Damn Time remix was really a remix.
Man.
It really didn't stray too far from the original. And then the Wet Leg remix was just such a remix. I was like, this has nothing to do with the original. Like, what is happening?
And that's my point. Like, what is the criteria for the remix? Do you want something that extends the experience of the original song? Do you want something that completely flips and turns like the original song on its head? I don't know. I have no idea like how they would evaluate. So excited to see how that will go. But continue. If you wanted to speak about the others? Sorry, I interrupted again.
I didn't. I was like, I don't think this will be televised. That's how we started talking about this. I don't think it's one of the televised ones.
Maybe that's why it wasn't in my packet of paperwork. I'm over that. If Beyonce decides to give us a performance, what do you want to see?
What I want to see and what she'll actually do are very different things. I still want to see Church Girl because it's just ratchet enough. I know the choreography would be great. So if I had to choose one song, it would be that. But then I also would just, honestly, any upbeat song the album will do because I know that her dancers will come with it. I know she'll have very unique and house-driven choreography. I'm thinking Pose. I'm thinking, like black gay culture will be all been through that, and that really excites me.
And then people on the Twitter will be like, oh, they're getting sturdy.
Right. 14-year-olds.
What do you think she'll perform then? if those are different. Just like you're just saying anything upbeat or...
No, it'll either be Comfort or Break My Soul, or maybe some mix of the two.
Probably right, I'm sure. Like those two have to be part of it. But I think she might do something else just because she can.
She probably open with like Alien Superstar or something. Or
yeah,
I'm That Girl.
One of those. Yeah, we'll get like a 30-second clip of that. And the crazy, exciting thing about it is that if she does perform, it'll be the first time anybody sees her perform any of this.
Yeah, I know. It's like, notice how she wasn't nominated for Best Music Video.
Yeah, it'll be exciting because like we won't be able to like dance along to the choreography in the way like people were dancing to like Single Ladies. Gosh, almost. That album came out 15 years ago.
I don't want to talk about it.
I wish, there's just a lot of emotions right now. Okay, a few more questions, people. Stick with us. Beyonce wins a televised Grammy for one of these categories. Given Eddie Murphy's speech last night at the Golden Globes, which I didn't know were happening until minutes before, where Eddie Murphy said the key to longevity in his career was 1, paying your taxes, 2, minding your business, 3, keeping Will Smith's wife's name out of your fucking mouth. What do you want to hear Beyonce say if she wins a category that she has been denied multiple times?
Something like I want to hear her recite one of her like more outlandish lyrics that she doesn't actually like say. Like, the suck on my balls comes to mind. She can't really say pause because she made a very gay album. But something, ridiculous like that.
We're assuming all of the speech prerequisites are happening. I want her to be very like proud and bold. I think to your point, like if she's not quoting lyrics, like I want cussing Beyonce on stage. She doesn't like, or rapping Beyonce on stage. She doesn't necessarily have to cuss, but I just want her to come with that energy and be like, I'm grateful, but also like y'all been playing me. Thank
something
you.
About, something about H-Town.
Yeah, of course. Goes without saying. Going back to Club Renaissance, I'm devastated that Houston didn't get one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's messed up.
I keep saying this. This is our last set of questions, last part of the conversation. Renaissance, the album, is Act 1 in a trilogy. If you're not familiar, trilogies have 3 parts. What do you want from the Act 2 and 3? Or what do you expect, right?
Okay, what they want and expect are different. Nope, I'm gonna go with want. Sorry, I'm gonna go with want. I'm expecting. Actually, one I'm expecting pop/R&B, like Beyonce. Again, when I was associating R&B with like soul and runs, expecting that, kind of more like Lemonade. A lot of that, very black, but then a little infusion of something else to remind you that I have range. Like Lemonade was very, very black, but then she had Daddy Lessons, and she had Hold Up to remind you that she's that girl. I expect that and went up. And then I also want gospel, because I always think about Destiny's Child, Amazing Grace, and how amazing that was. Are you holding back the urge to sing right now?
Nope. Never crossed my mind. Never crossed my mind. What I'm holding back is laughter at the many performances of 15 to 18-year-old Black women, teenage girls in the era who all thought they were Beyonce, imitating those performances. Some had more success than others.
Yep.
So like a pop R&B album and then a gospel album.
Yes, that's what I would want. I'm not expecting a gospel album. I'm expecting moments of gospel, but I'm not expecting the entire album. I think 2 and 3 will be similar. I'm not expecting anything crazy out of the box. Maybe like infusions of different genres. Like I could see her doing a few more rock records here, because she hasn't really delved too deep into that other than like 6 Inch. So I could see more of that in maybe the third album. But yeah, maybe like a hodgepodge of things, but I'm not expecting as much gospel as I would like.
I have a tangent all lined up and ready to go, but I will offer my guess expectations first. Country blues.
Yep.
Folksy. So like if you're familiar with Daddy Lessons, maybe more like that. She did a performance with Gary Clark Jr. and Ed what's that guy? Redhead Ed Sheeran? Like a Stevie Wonder thing. So I think I would like to see it. Would love to listen to it. So I think maybe one will be like country Americana, blues in that tradition. And then I like the idea of rock or gospel for like one of them.
It won't happen. But do you think this is supposed to be like a symbolic retirement?
I truly don't know. And that's why I like about Beyonce. She just like comes, does her music and dips.
I mean, she's getting a little carried away right now with the visuals.
With the dipping, yes.
Yeah.
But I also I feel like there are a lot of artists who would tell us why that is. She's like, if she's not satisfied with what she's come up with, if she's not satisfied with what they've created, if it's like again, this is the second Avatar reference in this episode. If it's like an Avatar thing where like the technology doesn't exist yet for Beyonce to do what it is she's trying to accomplish, is that it? I don't know. Or is she just like, I'm waiting to bundle this with something to get more of your money? Because you know what? She will.
She will.
I have $7 right here.
In cash. Ryan is keeping it old school. All the paper over there.
All the paper. Tangent, last question. Tangent. Mariah Carey's rock album thing.
I was going to bring that up. Did you see me trying so hard not to talk about that? Because I'll be here for days because Mariah is my girl, for those who don't know.
Hey, this is Leslie's and I's second bonus episode. I already forgot what the first one is. But for those of you who aren't aware, I'm going to try to explain it very briefly. Leslie's going to correct me and then you can go look it up. Mariah Carey wrote some sort of rock album. Her husband / record label head wouldn't let her record it. Somebody else recorded it, but there are Easter eggs throughout the album that hint at her involvement, and she might re-release it in the future.
Yeah, no, I think it's her voice. But yeah, you're right. She didn't release it under her old label, Columbia. And so she just has been teasing us with it. And actually on Questlove's podcast, and I think maybe late 2020, early 2021, she played half of a song on there that was great. So I think she will one day release it. She was telling us oh yeah, me and the kids will listen to it. We're dancing around the house. I'm good for you guys. What about us?
Yeah. Sorry, had to tangent. Renaissance. I know both of us have tickets for Janet Jackson this summer, different cities. Your budget for the Renaissance tour. What are you willing to trade? How are you thinking about how much money you're willing to spend? Honestly, what do we do if Ticketmaster messes up like they did with Taylor Swift?
We riot. That's the answer to that. But the Janet Jackson tickets really pushed my threshold quite a bit, because for a while I was I'm never paying quadruple digits for a concert, and I came mighty close. So that'll happen with Beyonce for the right seats. I'm not paying quadruple digits to be in the 300 level, but I don't know, lower level, as long as it's less than my rent, I'm all right. I live in LA. I live in LA. Y'all can figure out what that is or not.
Hey, she's got a budget. She got a big old budget.
That's why I don't have a printer.
Cheap.
Can't afford no ink.
Hey, yo. That's where they get you. So Renaissance.
How about you?
I'm going all in.
What does that mean?
I'm going all, whatever the most expensive tickets. I don't need nonsense. Don't give me a lanyard. Don't give me a t-shirt. I just want to seat as close to the stage as possible without that. So whatever that is at base value.
Got it. Yeah, the resale market is going to be wild.
It's going to be stupid. That said, Beyonce is very good at putting on a show for stadiums. I've went to On the Run 2, and Formation. And she creates an experience you can enjoy on the floor and lower level, at the top level, because they have the big screen, and their move, when it's her and Jay-Z, she's moving the whole time, he's doing his thing. You see the clips on TikTok and Instagram of her doing her little bird lady stuff. She creates a show. But because I can, very fortunate, very grateful to be in a position where I'm buying the best ticket. My parents aren't deciding the budget for this show.
Yeah.
What are they like? I don't have like a best little broke friend. What do they call it? Like when you're a kid? I don't have any kids to like be like, oh, if I gotta get 2 tickets, so that means we gotta get. No, I'm buying the tickets.
Because all your friends are balling, baby.
Yes. So like I'm buying the ticket and like, this is the budget. If you can't go, I'm going to the next friend. Do we need to get a payment plan? Whatever we got to do to get you in the building.
Installment
with me.
That's perfectly fine.
I'm going. I'm gonna be there. Denzel, I'm leaving here with something. I'm leaving the Ticketmaster waiting room with something to go to the show. I'm being live. I'm be getting my merch. Probably get a hat, a shirt. Hosted my family for Christmas Eve. Had my On the Run 1 and On the Run 2 photo books. Did a little presentation. It's you know, I'm willing to pay for experiences now.
Same.
And again, very grateful to be in a position to like be able to.
Same.
And not being kind of like, dang. But I just need her to go ahead and do it so I can start missing the money.
Right. I mean,
and looking forward to the experience. I think hopefully it'll come around the time this episode drops. Hopefully someone from Parkwood Entertainment is listening to this right now saying we need them at a show together in the same city.
There you go. What do you think about the Twitter rumors that Amorphous is going to open for her?
Happy for Amorphous if it's true.
Because he keeps doing the remixes with Renaissance songs.
But, like, there's no one she could add as an opener. That's not true. The opener isn't inconsequential to me unless it's someone amazing. Amorphous is very talented. Love those remixes. Happy they found an audience during the pandemic over, like, the last 2 or 3 years. That's not super exciting to me, but it's not a bad thing.
Or maybe he would just be our DJ.
Also, like, great opportunity.
Yeah, for sure.
But, yeah,
he's good.
like,
he's very good.
Very talented. The Aaliyah.
Yep, the Aaliyah Cuff It
remix. Yeah.
I was incredible.
Like, so fun.
Because, like, again, I mentioned on Twitter, for those who don't follow me, I mentioned that, like, a really strong suit of this album is, or strong point of this album is the backing vocals. They are fantastic. Especially on Cuff It and Break My Soul. Because especially Break My Soul, I realized one day when I was walking home from boxing that I'd never heard the song all the way through until that moment. And at the end, she just like goes nuts with the background vocals. It reminds me a lot of Faith Evans and Brandy. They are also known for having amazing background vocals along with, you know, my girl. And it reminded me a lot of that. And I was like, but you hear it more on when Amorphous remixes. Because he's putting it behind songs or behind instrumentals that have a little less going on. So it's more about the vocal. So I love Amorphous for that.
I have to bring something up that we didn't talk about. Khalees.
Ooh. Yeah, I forgot all about that.
So I'm not going to Google it. I'm going to try to explain it. We're coming up. We've been on for a while. We've had a great time. I don't want to hold Lesley hostage. If you don't remember, there was a Khalees sample from Milkshake on Break My Soul. Very faint. People were upset. Well, to be fair, I don't think Khalees earns like necessarily royalties for that sample because of like the contract she was in, and was upset that Beyonce didn't reach out or let her know in advance or anything like that. Didn't come to her woman to woman. Here's the thing. I understand people do that. I appreciate that people do that. I don't think Beyonce does it because of fears of leaks or like those people not running, but like bringing it up in the press before she's ready.
Right.
So I understand it. I also understand where Khalees is coming from, but I find it interesting, funny, weird that Beyonce was like, you know what? Let's just cut it.
Yep.
That was the solution.
She didn't want it to be a thing.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, I feel like there was some, like, I think it feels kind of a bit of a peace offering because I think they had some like very minor beef around the Ring the Alarm time because, Khalees was caught out there screaming on the track just like Beyonce did with Ring the Alarm. And Khalees was like, I'm pretty sure I was the first one to do that. And I think she mentioned that in one of her songs. And I think that was like kind of a nod to Beyonce. So I feel like including the sample was a bit of a peace offering, and Khalees was like, no, it's not. And Beyonce was like, well, then fuck it.
Okay, yeah. And listen,
all speculation.
Oh yeah, we have no insight.
No insider scoop. I love both of them.
Right. But it's very like a Taurus thing to do. I would do the same thing. And I mean, Beyonce's obviously not a Taurus, but
right.
Y'all, that is it. Lesley,
okay.
Before I let you go, anything you want to share with people, promote, tell them to listen to, anything like that?
Listen to That Can't Be Right with Ryan Rogan, the upcoming Patreon. And that's all I got. More projects to come.
More to come. Lesley, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of That Can't Be Right. Everybody, again, follow wherever you get this podcast. If this is your first time listening, if you found me from Googling Beyonce or Googling me or Googling Lesley or listen to an old episode, don't forget to check out the other 2 episodes I mentioned about Beyonce and or the Grammys. Check us out, TCBR Pod on Twitter. I don't know why I'm saying we. It's me. I run the account. Check
it's
me
Ryan's
out.
podcast. I'm just a guest. A guest won't go home.
Well, no, it's like, but it's like, yeah, I like it's an organization. It's me, TCBR Pod on Twitter and Instagram, and now on TikTok. Back with more episodes. Going to be releasing on a bi-weekly schedule, so I can focus on also doing my job. So check it out. Lots of stuff to talk about. If you want to be a guest or know someone who would be a great guest, reach out. Lesley, go be free.
Thanks for having me.